Dear friend, is your life on track? Are you headed in the right direction? Are you keeping your eyes on the road, your hands upon the wheel? Well, you've come to the right pit stop, because we here at the First Unified Church of Karma ask ourselves the same questions. And though we are still searching for the meaning of life, we are also finding the meaning of lyrics. Welcome to our podcast, where we keep track of what track we're on, sometimes backtracking while listening to the soundtrack of our lives with the 8-track of experience. And you are on the right track for a message that explores the many tracks that can lead us to wisdom. So join us as we keep on tracking. We invite you to slow that Mustang down and turn your attention to our podcast, The Rock of Sages. Welcome all, regardless of your past, present, or future. Your speaker for today is I, your irrelevant, irreverent earworm, the not-so-reverend blind Doc Lemon Jelly Roll Jefferson. The text for today's message is taken from the book of Mark, Farner. 4 young Chaquitas in Omaha, waiting for the band to return from the show. Feeling good, feeling right, it's Saturday night. The hotel detective, he was out of sight. Now these fine ladies, they had a plan. They was out to meet the boys in the band. They said, "Come on, dudes, let's get it on." And we proceeded to tear that hotel down. And so, my friend, may we learn and grow, examine and understand, analyze, realize, and transmogrify our lives. May we translate and transform and transition into our future with the transmission of the transcendent transcendence that is before us today. As we carefully examine today's text, we first notice the extraordinary patience of the 4 young Chaquitas, who waited for the band to return from the show. Have you ever waited for someone to return? Have you experienced the uncertainty of not knowing when they would arrive? The possibility that this could take a lot longer than they envisioned? Or that their expected return may never happen? Many things could have caused a delay to their meeting. Communication was different in those times, my friend. Cell phones were not invented yet. The band could have decided to play several encores. They could have been swept up by the moment, become intoxicated by the music, gone to a nightclub or the house of a new friend or an after-concert healing service. Those poor girls may have been left waiting for a long, long time, but they persisted. They were committed to their meeting with the boys in the band, and as it came to pass, their patience was rewarded. So if you ever lose patience, if you ever give up hope, if you ever feel that what you have planned will not come to fruition, if your plans were based on the weak and uncertain commitments of others, do not give up hope. The wise words of the sages show us that patience does not go unrewarded. There is a positive outcome, a benefit for the kind of patience and persistence these young Nebraska ladies demonstrated on that unique and often celebrated Saturday night. And who wouldn't feel good or right on a Saturday night? Can I get an amen? Of course not. This is a podcast. We are also told that the hotel detective was, and I quote, out of sight, unquote. There are many possible meanings to the term out of sight. Taken literally, it means they were invisible to the band members or the young ladies. That leaves the possibility that the detective was not on the premises, or taking care of other guests, or possibly in hiding, peering through a potted plant. But out of sight is also an expression. It most likely meant that they were relaxed, not limiting the band members, even encouraging them. We at First Unified believe that the hotel detective wholeheartedly embraced the goals of the members of the band as they embraced the young ladies. And so I ask you, dear friend, who is out of sight in your life? Who is that person in your life that seems to be hiding from you? And who is the one that is relaxed and chill? As our friend and painter Bob Ross once said, every tree needs a friend. I encourage you, if you haven't already, to find a friend that is out of sight. They need not be a hotel detective, just somebody that has your back and will encourage you to achieve your goals in life. You may not be in an American band, but you don't have to be. But you do need to have someone in your life that is out of sight. And so, dear friend, it came to pass that the patience of the ladies was amply rewarded. When they finally saw the grand disciples of the Funk Railroad, they addressed them in terms of charming familiarity. They said, "Come on, dudes, let's get it on." In that statement, we see their patience, their persistence, their sense of purpose, and their charm. Combined with the manner of familiarity, it brought the paths of their lives together on the same track. For a brief moment in time, there was a connection. Life has the tendency to give each of us a unique path, a path that is different from the tracks of our friends and family. If life were a race, it would be impossible to run it, because no one is running on the exact same track. We are as unique as the complex trail of experiences that brought us here. I find it profoundly interesting that even as you are listening to me right now, even as our lives seem to be running parallel to each other in this moment, we are not running along the same path. The world has a tendency to put us in specific and well-worn paths, but that is not how life is lived on the inside. The people we meet, the experiences we have, though they may be shared at times, are unique to each one of us. But that doesn't mean we are alone. We often share our track with others along the way. Some people will share our path for quite some distance. Others will only share a small section with us. But every path that is taken with patience and persistence will lead to interesting places. The unique track of each of our lives enriches us. It makes you, you. So what can we take away from this? The first lesson is one of comfort. It is not only permissible, but indeed necessary that we reach out for connection. We were not meant to be alone. Few, if any, of us thrive in a vacuum of relationships. Our lives are the most epic when we do whatever it takes to connect with others. For some, it takes patience. For others, it takes initiative. We see both in the Chaquitas of Omaha. You, dear friend, can take comfort in the discovery of the many people in our world that are out of sight. There is good reason to look for the people that will get it on with you in the many permutations of the meaning of that expression. It is for you to explore those permutations, to find your comfort zone in those permutations, to invite those permutations into your life, to experience those permutations with others firsthand, and to embrace them. Your life will be made richer by getting it on and metaphorically tearing that hotel, that temporary bower of refuge, down. You can live a life of great depth and meaning by making this your mantra, by repeating to yourself, "You're an American band." You too can come to our town and help us party down. You too can be like Sweet Sweet Connie and go into your act. You too can have the whole show. That's a natural fact. Whether you are in Omaha or Little Rock, you too can rock out in your own way. It all begins with patience. But before you begin tearing down hotels, you must pause. Wait, my friend. Become like the Chaquitas. Wait for the band to return from the show. And let me mention in passing that it's probably better to not make poker your thing. Leave that to Freddie King. Can you get an amen? Sure. Amen.
Reverend Blondot and Jelly Roll Jefferson would like to personally thank you for listening to his thoughts for today, but he can't unless you leave a message in the comments. The First Unified Church of Karma, like all other institutions, is a made-up organization. We are not affiliated with any other organization, religious or otherwise. Unlike other nonprofits, this is a for-profit organization. The First Church exists only on the internet and is monetized because if we don't do that, YouTube will. Send your non-tax deductible donation to us through Patreon and feel free to mute any advertisements that may pop up at the beginning, middle, or end of the message. The services of the First Unified Church of Karma are intended as entertainment as we explore the SDRR, the spiritual truths of rock and roll. We do not intend in any way to demean or denigrate the truths we find, or the great sages through whom we have received wisdom. Should you achieve enlightenment while listening to any portion of our content, we are not to be held responsible or liable in any way. If you would like a transcript of today's message, replay it at a slower speed and write it down as you listen. All sermons remain the property of the First Unified Church of Karma. Be sure to return for a visit every time a new podcast is released, which will be whenever the spirit in the sky moves us. He that has earbuds to hear, let him hear.